Hey everybody, today we are going to take a look at my friend's deck. He is running Teval, the balance scale. It is 1 and soul tie, so a black, a green, and a blue, for a legendary creature spirit dragon that has flying. Whenever Teval attacks, you mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard, you create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, and it's a 4/4. So there's some graveyard shenanigans going on here, which is pretty cool. Give this deck a nice little shuffle. I have only played against this deck one time, so I actually don't know all the cards that are in this deck yet, so you'll have to forgive me if my goldfishing is not optimal. But I will say that I am a pretty big fan of soul tie. I think everyone kind of knows this already, I suppose, but I think that is definitely one of the most powerful color combos in the commander format. And I used to have a mimeoplasm deck way back in the day when I first started playing Magic. I really enjoyed that deck quite a bit. I wish I still had that deck. I think I have some of the cards, but I think that the power level of that deck would not keep up with a lot of the decks that are out and about now. But without further ado, let's jump into this now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 cards. Let's take a look. I want to make sure the camera's actually picking these up. So we got Hogak, which I have not seen it in a long time actually. Doomsday Confluence, Binding the Old Gods. We got an Enchantment Room, Deep Analysis, Rags, and a Thespian Stage. So I don't think that we are going to keep this hand. I think we're going to ship it back. And as I'm shuffling, big thanks to everyone that has been watching the videos, and big shout out to all the new subscribers as well. Really appreciate all of you, being part of the channel here, and I hope that you're enjoying the videos, and I'm very excited to continue bringing you some more ASMR style videos and more kind of goldfishing deck techs, if you will. I also have quite a bit of actual commander footage too that I still need to get to, so let's see if the magic cons are with us today. So I got solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright, let's take a look. Man, we are not getting to any lands here. So I got a Tormod the Desecrator, really cool looking crop rotation, Aftermath Analyst, Rampant Growth, Steward of the Harvest. Where's this from? What is TDC, guys? I don't know. Talon Gates of Madara, that's from Modern Horizons 3 and Realms Uncharted. Okay, so we're not getting any lands. I'm gonna do this kind of obnoxious shuffle, but let's see what it looks like. So here's 3, 1, 2, 4. Anyway, I am probably going to pick up some of the Final Fantasy booster boxes. I should have pre-ordered, and I regret not pre-ordering it, but I should have pre-ordered some of the collector boxes. I have a buddy that runs an LGS as close to me, and I'm part of his Patreon actually, and he suggested that I go in heavy on the collector booster boxes for Final Fantasy, but kind of forgot. I'll have to take a look at all of the cards that are in that set. You know, funny enough, and don't hate me for this, but I've never actually played any Final Fantasy game in my life, and maybe I should change that. So, if there's a specific Final Fantasy game that you really like, that you think I should start with, let me know in the comments, because I'm always down to trying out some new games here. Alright, so that should be shuffled up a little better, I'm hoping. And I'm trying to be as gentle as possible with my friend's deck here, so bear with me. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and lucky 7. Alright, so, well, it looks like we actually got some lands, which is great. So we have a Cavalier of Thorns, Kiru Goalkeeper, that's kind of cool. That's from Dragons of Tarkir, or no, sorry, that's from Tarkir Dragonstorm, the new set. We got some Marsh Flats, Rags to Riches, Oracle of Moldia, have a Force, and Arcane Denial. So we got a 2 land hand. I don't want to keep it. Let's see what we got on top of our deck. And we got a Festering Gulch. Okay, so it was worth keeping the hand, I suppose. Worth the risk. That being said, if I'm being totally honest, I probably would have played the Marsh Flats first to have gone and searched for a Triome, if possible, which I don't know if my buddy has. And then I would play the Forest, but just knowing that there's another land that's coming up, which you wouldn't know that. And for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep that on top. Although, I just realized that in a game of Commander, I will actually be drawing a card. So, I'll still be able to do that. Alright, okay. Let's say that I'm kicking it off, right? So, I will go first. I will draw my card for turn, which is a Festering Gulch. And I'm going to play a Marsh Flats. I would probably pass the turn at this point because I don't really have anything to do. And leaving fetched lands not cracked is, I don't know, a good psychological trick or kind of a good political trick when you're playing Commander, because, you know, if you're playing white, for example, and you don't have any planes out, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I could potentially go, you know, crack this, search for, I don't know, a Godless Shrine or something, and then cast, you know, like a Path to Exile or a Swords to Plowshare or something. I know, like, in more competitive formats, that's kind of a thing. Anyway, so end of my opponent's turn, and crack the Marsh Flats. Gonna go down to 39 and see if we can find a Triome in here. Or a Shockland. I love looking through decks like this, though. Let's see. I mean, I could get a Fetid Pool, I suppose. Oh, he's got one of these Secret Lair, I don't know, Windows, PC, basic lands, Overgrown Tomb. So maybe that. Get 2 colors going. He's got a Watery Grave. But I want to see if he's got something for 3 colors. He may or may not. Besu, Thespian Stage. He's got the Shire in here, that's funny. And a Crop Rotation. Okay, so it doesn't look like he has any. What colors do we have? We have black, green, and we have a green, and we need a blue. So yeah, let's go with the fetid pools. You can search for a swamp. Fetid pools is an island and a swamp. I'm going to toss this overgrown tomb back into the deck, and I will shuffle this puppy up. Alright, so that is shuffled up. This is going to enter the battlefield tapped. And then we'll go to my second turn. I will untap Fetid Pools. I will draw a card for the turn, and I drew into Binding the Old Gods. So it's a saga that does a little bit of everything. It's first, what do they consider this? Step at a lore counter. It's first chapter, I guess. Destroy target non-land permanent and opponent control, so it's removal. The second chapter is search your library for forest cards, a little bit of ramp, and the third one is creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. So that kind of incentivizes you to attack, although I kind of wish that this was either like death touch and lifelink or trample or something, because I think that would really push this card into becoming, like a rare or mythic. But noticing that it is an uncommon, so that kind of makes sense for its power level, I guess. But I don't know. I guess judging cards based on their rarity isn't necessarily the right way to go, because the rarity is usually thought of in the sense of like a draft environment where, cards like a mythic is meant to be a card that's more complex for new players or what have you. Whereas like rares and under are meant to be a little more straightforward, I guess. But okay. Fetid Pools, and let's put down, maybe this is not a great hand now that I'm looking at it. Well, I'll play a Festering Gulch. It'll come in tapped, and when it enters, it'll deal 1 damage to target opponent. And that's all that she wrote, guys. I don't got anything else for my turn. Kind of wish this was a land that comes in untapped, so I could have the Arcane Denial, on standby, but play the cards that you're dealt, all pun intended. So then, third turn, untap, upkeep, draw. So I got a Traverse to Uvenwald, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. There are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. Instead, search your library for a creature or land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay. So you get to search for a basic land card, and you put it into your hand. Okay. Well, neat. I will put down a forest for my turn, and I want to get to this Oracle of Moldia, right? I will play said Traverse the Ulvenwald. So I don't have 4 more card types in my graveyard. So the Delirium won't work, unfortunately, but that's fine. We're going to go search my library for a basic land card and then place that into my hand. I think I'm just going to go for one of these cool-looking islands. That's a snow-covered swamp. Snow-covered island. There we go. Alright, I'm going to shuffle this up. Okay. Kind of a speed shuffle there, but yeah, getting a snow-covered island. Check that out. I wonder if the camera's picking up the foiling. Actually looks really cool. It's like a pixel land. Actually, I think the set was called Pixel Land, or the secret layer, should I say. Cool. So snow-covered island to my hand. I unfortunately am unable to play anything else, so we're definitely off to a slow start. So untap, upkeep, draw. So now we're getting some lands. We got a Besu Endures. This card is really sick, actually. So the Neon Dynasty Kamigawa set is probably one of my favorite sets in the last couple of years. This is a rather pricey card at this point, I think, but it's a legendary land that taps for a forest. Otherwise, it's got this channel ability where you pay 1 in a green, you can discard it, And then you can choose to destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. Then that player may search the library for a land card with a basic land type. So very strong effect because it's just removal tacked onto a land. And it actually costs 1 generic less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So, if you have a legendary creature out, all you're paying is 1 green. It's like awesome value. Plus the full art version of this is just extraordinary. But I'll geek out about any of these cards, I guess. Snow-covered island coming down. What do we want to play? We could play Kiru, Goalkeeper. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard during your turn, you create a treasure token. Well, it doesn't look like anything's going to leave the graveyard quite yet. I do have the option of board wiping this turn if I wanted to. Well, it's not a proper board wipe, I suppose, but give everything -2/-2, which I think we're early enough in the game where we can actually, where that -2/-2 is actually going to be impactful. Otherwise, we can Oracle Moldia, which lets us play an additional land on each of our turns. I think for the sake of getting this game going, I'm going to tap out here. I'm going to cast Oracle Moldia, which hopefully she sticks. And then I'm going to play, which I normally don't play, but I'll play the Besu who endures just so that we can get some lands down, right? But normally I keep this in my hand because it's just like premium removal. Oracle Moldia also says here that you play with the top card of your library revealed. I believe this is I think this is a growth spiral. I believe it's a growth spiral, and I'll have to double check on what growth spiral does, but I think it lets you draw a card, put down a land. What does growth spiral do? I'll check it, but anyway, we're going to play with that as the top card, and then we will ship the turn. Turn comes back to us. We untap. We then draw. Untap this. So I think we have growth spiral in our hand, but let me check. Okay, so I did look it up. Growth spiral says that you draw a card, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that has to be in your hand, which is cool. So, okay. So you have everything untapped. Should we play the commander or not? Whenever he attacks, you mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So we'll be returning the Marsh Flats. Whenever one or more land cards, or whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard, you create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Okay. Well, what to do? Well, the growth spiral is not really doing anything for us right now, considering that we can play lands from the top of our library. So I'm going to play the Horizon of Progress. So you pay 1 and you can add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. And for 3 you can tap it. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. And then for 1 you can tap it and sack it and you draw a card. So this will come in ready to go. Revealing a Vesuva. It's the top card. Which that might actually make growth spiral worth casting at this point. Or, well, how much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't have quite enough for what I wanted to do. But let's do... What do we want to do? What should we do? I don't think that the order matters much in this case. I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong before. Let's see. We will tap. black, blue, green, blue. And I'm going to cast the commander because I want to show everyone what the commander does. So commander is hopefully resolving. We also have the backup right now too in Arcane Denial in case someone tried to counter our commander. The Horizon of Progress, I can tap it to create a blue off of the snow-covered island. So we will cast, okay, so we cast Teval, and then I'm going to, with the knowledge that we have Vesuva on top, I'm going to cast Growth Spiral. Very beautiful artwork. Check that out. That is the coolest looking growth spiral I've ever seen. I wish I could read it, but the whole thing is gorgeous. So anyway, that hits the graveyard. We are going to draw a card. Going to continue revealing the top of our deck. And then it says that I may put a land card from my hand onto the battlefield. So I'm going to put down this Vesuva, have it enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any land on the battlefield. Besu was awesome in the sense of, you know, every game like this is going to turn into something different because there's just so many like different lands that are played in this format. If someone had a command tower, I think I would just go for a command tower. If someone had some land, utility land that had some ridiculous effect, I would copy that. For right now and for the sake of this video, I think I'm just going to pretend that this is a command tower, that one of my opponents has a command tower that'll come in tapped. I go to combat. I'm not really incentivized to attack with the Oracle of Moldia because she just gives us so much value by existing. But now we're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. Great. So we have plenty of lands. We don't have a whole lot going on in the graveyard yet, which is unfortunate, but ship the turn. Turn comes back to us. We are going to untap, upkeep, nothing's going on. We'll draw, continue revealing the top card. It's unfortunately not a land, so I drew into an Entish Restoration. So for 2 and a green, it's an instant that you sack a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead you search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So you're always going to be sacking a land here. That's cool. So I think... Oh, okay. So there's a few things I could do. There's a couple directions. I could... Well, let's say that I don't have anything I want to remove. That's fine. I almost feel like this card should just be like an Assassin's Trophy or something. That's my opinion. Rags, I don't want to do anything with that yet. So I could have Kiru out, attack with Teval, which is going to cause, I can return a land card from my graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I'm going to return that Marsh Flats tapped. That's kind of crummy that it comes in tapped, but whatever. And then Kiru's trigger would go off. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard during your turn, you create a treasure token, so I get some value off of that. Although I do have a lot of lands. And it's got this renew thing. Exile this card from your graveyard, put 2+1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, that's neat. Wow, this is an uncommon. Okay, so if any of you have pulled this card, definitely hold on to it because I feel like Graveyard Matters decks are going to see a lot of... This is just going to see a lot of play in graveyard decks, is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, I have a Cavalier Thorns. When this knight enters, you reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put a land card from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your graveyard. When he dies, you may exile it. If you do, put another target card from your graveyard on top of your library. Okay, so this synergizes really well with Teval in the sense of you are going to, well, let's see if I can make sense of this. So you reveal the top 5, you put a land card from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your graveyard. So you're going to be filling up your graveyard with stuff. And then when he dies, you may exile it if you do put another target card from your graveyard on top of your library. Which then triggers Teval's second clause here. So, and then we have Entish Restoration to go search for some more lands. Let's put down Kiru Goalkeeper. So remember that this is a command tower. So maybe I'll keep that up. Yeah. Well, let's tap out here. So we'll go for 4 here. Cast the Kiru Goalkeeper. I'm going to go to combat. I am not, again, not going to attack with the Oracle of Moldia. I think I'd only ever attack with her if it was one of those situations where, you know, I'm about to win, or maybe there's like a Critter Hoof Behemoth that I resolved or something. Can't attack with the Kiru, but I will attack with the Teval. So when he attacks, I get to mill 3 cards. Then I may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I will attack. I will mill 3. So here's 1. And the cards that get milled, I mean, they're being revealed off the top of your library, but they're going to be revealed to everyone because they're going to your graveyard anyway. So that's 1, 2, 3 is the polluted delta. And then we continue to reveal a card, which is the Beast Within from the Oracle of Moldia. And then it says, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I'm going to return the polluted delta. It's going to come into the battlefield tapped, unfortunately. But then, since 1 or more cards left my graveyard, I get to create a 2/2 black zombie Druid token. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the specific zombie Druid token. I'll have to see if I have any of those tokens sitting around somewhere. But so you get your zombie, and it comes in untapped. That's nice. So at a minimum, you have a chump blocker, which is great. Then I think Q Goalkeeper trigger goes off whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard during your turn, which the polluted delta did leave. I get to create a treasure token. So I don't have any treasure tokens here either. Okay, well, I'm going to use this die to signify the treasure tokens. I'm just going to put it underneath Kiru so that everyone knows that it has to do with him. And yeah, I think we're good. I'm actually liking this commander. I think the fact that it has flying really incentivizes you to attack, so that's neat. And then we'll pass a turn. All right, turn comes back to us. We untap everything. We do have quite a few lands, which is neat. Draw the Beast Within for the turn. Show a Splendid Reclamation. I wonder how many landfall creatures he has in this deck, because I'm not seeing a whole lot. That's the only thing right now, but I don't think we really need that Splendid Reclamation at the moment, and it doesn't look like there's anything that we can play from the graveyard anyway. Graveyard decks are awesome because the graveyard acts as an extension of your hand. That being said, there's so much graveyard hate. It's relatively easy to shut down, so I guess that's, you know, a risk that you take when you play a deck like this, but I don't know. I guess Splendid Reclamation isn't super exciting. But what's the right order? Because put a land card from among them onto the battlefield and the rest to your graveyard. Well, tell you what, let's... So I got a green here, blue here, green here, and blue here. And a green here. 1, 2, 3 greens, and then 2 blues, or a black and a blue, let's say. So I'm going to cast Cavalier of Thorns. And then when it enters the battlefield, I get to reveal the top 5 cards of my library. So revealing Slender Reclamation, Doomsday Confluence, Rift Sweeper. I don't see that card a whole lot. I have a really sick Forest and a Think Twice. So he is running some flashback cards, which is great. Flashback letting you exile a specific card that has flashback from your graveyard. You pay its flashback cost, of course, and then you get to play that card. So that's great. What's the second half of this? What does it do? When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them onto the battlefield, and it's not tapped, so I'm going to put this Forest down. And that is actually not my land for the turn, which I don't think I have any lands anyway. And then what does it say? Put a land card and the rest into your graveyard. So all of these are going to hit the graveyard. Got these guys out. And it's a 5/6 that has reach. Wow, that's actually really strong. Okay. Yeah, it's from M20. I remember I think they made a Cavalier of every color, right? Or something similar to that, maybe. Of course, the green one is like amazing. Okay. What steps do we want to take? I mean, nice part right now is like, we could blow something up if we really needed to. We technically have 2 bits of removal here. What is this Riches Aftermath? Each opponent chooses a creature he or she controls. You gain control of those creatures. Oh, snap. So that's for 7. But that -2/-2 is going to kill my zombie, and I don't want that. You know what? I think I'm just going to go to combat. I don't really see any other great plays here because this Entish Restoration is going to be really nice if we had something with landfall or something with like lands entering the battlefield, but I don't have anything right now that's going to be impactful, so I'll just go to combat. Oh, and Kiru's a flyer too. Oh, that's cool. So let's get in here. Let's get some attacks going through. So we'll throw 4. We'll toss a 3. And why not? The zombie feels lonely. He wants to get in on the mix too. So, or in on the action. So I'm going to make this guy's trigger go off first. Well, his trigger goes off first regardless. When he attacks, I'm going to mill 3 cards. So I'll mill 3. So here's 1, 2, and a 3. Ooh, we hit Field of the Dead. That's pretty spicy, actually. Definitely not a fair card. Not a broken card either, right? Just kidding. Let's see. When he attacks, mill 3 cards, and you return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I'm going to return Field of the Dead, which will come into play tapped. And then it says, when Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. If you control 7 or more lands with different names, so this is going to come in and counts itself, right? So 1, Festering Gulch is 2, Fetid Pools is 3, Boseiju is 4, Snow Covered Island is 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Regular Forest is 6, Horizon of Progress is 7, Besu is 8, Polluted Delta is 9, and then this forest is just redundant. It doesn't see that as being unique. If you control 7 or more lands with different names, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. And it doesn't come in tapped. Okay. So I'm going to create my zombie. And apologies for the spacing here. So many cards, so much going on here, right? Okay, so I have a zombie that comes in off of the Field of the Dead trigger. So this would be a trigger. Then there's a trigger on Kiru, but I would just resolve it. Field of the Dead first, then Kiru. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard during your turn, you create a treasure token. So I'm going to create an additional treasure token here. And then just remember that this is technically it's a black zombie druid. Whereas Field of the Dead creates a 2/2 black zombie creature. So this zombie is a little more magical than the normal zombie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards left. I don't really need any more lands. Oh, and let's not forget that Oracle Moldia makes it so that the top card of your library needs to be shown. So much is happening here that I actually don't remember if I played a land for the turn. Did I? I might have. I don't know. I'm going to say that I did, although I believe I did not. So, yeah, okay. Let's just go with that. Let's say that I already played a land for the turn, right? I would ship the turn after that because we still have some defense. We have offense. Actually, I guess these are both defensive. And Entish Restoration is actually an instant. I didn't realize that, so that's a thing too. I think what I would do is, well, first, let's take a look at our graveyard just to see what we have. Marsh Flats, Traverse the Ovenwald, Girl Spiral, Tribute to the Wild Realms Uncharted, Splendor Reclamation, Doomsday Confluence, Rift Sweeper, and I think twice. So I think what I would do is, I don't know how to order these cards. I kind of like the pile that I had before. Let's just go like that, right? Okay. Yeah, sure. I think what I would do is I would, on my opponent's turn, I would crack the Polluted Delta. I would go search for maybe an island. Or I guess I could get an Overgrown Tomb, because that also counts as a land that I don't have out for Field of the Dead is like what I'm trying to activate. So I think I would, yeah, sure. Overgrown Tomb tapped. That would trigger Field of the Dead. Since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 unique named lands, which I think is what it needs, right? 7 or more lands with different names. So I'm going to create another zombie, and I'm going to use this to indicate that I have 2 zombies. And then I also have Think Twice in my graveyard. So I'm going to, remember this is a command tower. Let's see. I guess I'll pay 1 life to add 1 mana of any color that a land I control could produce. So I'll add a blue, add a green, tap. I'll lose my 1 point of life off of the Horizons of Progress. I will then exile the Think Twice. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then you exile it. So I will exile it, which I think actually might trigger these guys. Whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard, you create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So in this case, the Think Twice is getting exiled, but it is leaving the graveyard. So I believe that I do get to create another zombie druid. I'm going to say that this is 2. And just remember that these are my treasure tokens. So then whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard during your, oh no, this only happens during your turn. So Kiru doesn't go off, but Teval does go off. Okay. And then it is back to my turn. So we will untap everything here. Let's see how tidy I can make these lands look. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. Okay. That's legible enough, right? Alright, so I got Oracle Moldia. Oh, sorry. During that whole time, this should have been revealed off the Oracle. So I got the Cavalier Thorns, got the two zombies, got my commander, I got 2 zombie druids, and I still got Kiru. So then I will... Hang on. I made a mistake. So, yeah. So think twice is draw a card. So we went through all that. That's funny. And I paid for the thing twice, but I never drew a card. So I should have drawn into the Acid Moss. This would be revealed. It should be a snow-covered island. And then, yeah, so untap, upkeep. Then we would go to our draw to draw into the snow-covered island, revealing a Talon Gates of Madara. Oh, but I can't play it at instant speed. You know, Talon Gates of Madara is actually really cool because it's protection kind of built into a land. You can play it like a regular land. You can also like filter for any color, but for 4 at instant speed, you can put it onto the battlefield, and whenever it enters, up to 1 target creature phases out. So that's actually really cool. All right. What do we got? I honestly think my buddy has this card in here just for the memes. Just to destroy target land. I guess you could target your own land, right? If you needed to have a land for Teval. And just restoration if you want to just go get some more stuff. Yeah, why not? Okay, we'll cast an Entish. Restoration for 3, so we'll do green. Let's do a green, a colorless, and another green. We'll cast it. It says sack a land, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead you search your library for up to 3 basic land cards. So he's 4 or greater, and so is Cavalier. So I am going to search my library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped. Forest, snow-covered island. Hold on, what am I sacking here? I can sack the snow-covered island. He might have an extra snow-covered island. Maybe. Try to see if I can get Field of the Dead to trigger. I don't have any swamps. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get 1 swamp. I'm just seeing that now. I'm going to get a snow-covered swamp too. And I will get... Let's see... Oh, bummer. Is that the only snow-covered island that he has? Maybe that wasn't the move. Oh, whoops. Okay. Struggle busing a little bit. Let's see. Forest. Strip mine. Do we not have any more? We have a regular island. Okay. So, Entish, what do you say? Search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Okay, so these are going to enter tapped. They are all going to enter at the same time. And I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unique lands, or lands with different names. And then island's going to come in. I don't have an island, so that's one Field of the Dead trigger. Snow-covered swamp. I don't have any other snow-covered swamps. So that's another, and then another swamp. A basic swamp. That should trigger Field of the Dead yet again. Or another land entity under your control if you control 7 or more lands with different names. Hold on, am I reading this wrong? Whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, you create. Oh, okay, so the first condition has been met. Like, I already control 7 lands with different names. And then it's whenever another land enters, as long as like that first 7 unique names is like still a thing, then you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay, well, whatever. We are going to create an extra 3 black zombies. So we have a total of 5. I'm going to use this to. So we have 3 that just came in and 2 that are ready to attack. What else? Oh, reveal that. So I have a command tower. I don't believe that I played a land for the turn, so off of the Oracle, I'm going to play a command tower. That's going to trigger another zombie. Another zombie will come in off the Field of the Dead. And I think at this point, I mean, how much power do I have on board? I mean, I got 3. I think these 2 are ready to attack. So that's 4, 8. I have 2 that are ready to attack. So what is that? 12 plus 5, 17, 18, 19. Don't make fun of me off of my mental math. That has never been my strong suit, despite of playing a game that has a lot of math in it. Yeah. So then, and just to show you how this is synergizing, like one last time here, is I'd go to combat with Teval, right? Let's attack with the Kiru. Let's attack with the 2 zombies. Let's attack with the 2, or sorry, these are zombie druids. The 2 zombies that are coming in normal. We'll attack with the Cavalier of Thorns. So again, when Teval attacks, I get to mill 3 cards. So I'll mill Blast Zone, a Bloodghast, and a Tormod the Desecrator, revealing a Lumra Bellow of the Woods. Wow, full art and foil, man. My buddy really went all out on this deck. That's cool. I've never seen that version of the art, or that art in general. So those 3 are going to hit the bin, and then I can return a land card. It comes in tap still. Okay, so I kind of see the benefit of having the fetch lands. Marsh Flats will come into play. I will create another regular zombie. Why do I feel like I'm messing my zombies up? So these zombies can't attack yet. And then, since something left my graveyard this turn, I'm going to create a treasure token. So I got 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Where'd my hand go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 bits of mana at my disposal. And I would just continue attacking from there. Although I think Bloodghast, whenever land enters the battlefield under control, you may return Bloodghast from your graveyard to the battlefield. So Bloodghast would come into play because I had a land enter, and then whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard, you create a zombie druid. So I create a zombie druid, do I create another treasure token here? Whenever one or more cards leave, so it has to be like it's per like instance of one or more cards like leaving. So you could have like 10 cards leave. You're only ever going to create one treasure token. So keep that in mind. So yes, I would create another treasure token. And yeah, I mean, the game goes on from there. I think that my buddy mentioned that he's not done building the deck by any means, but I think it's actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. I think adding, you know, as many cards with flashback as possible makes sense. He's got the Dark Depths combo in here, gotta love that. He's got ways of, you know, destroying opponents' lands. It's just kind of a stack of, or a pile of like Sultai, graveyard, good stuff he's got going on. It's got Ulamog that lets you shuffle your graveyard into your library so you don't like totally deck yourself. You got Hogak, who's a total menace. Strip Mine, that's not nice. That's not fun, man. Fierce Guardianship. Yeah. Scarab God, yeah, classic. Casualties of War. Blasphemous Edict. Each player sacks 13 creatures of their choice. I don't know, I almost feel like a damnation would. Oh no, you may pay a black rather than pay the spell's mana cost if there are 13 or more creatures. Okay, no, this is good then. And the Lumra. Oh yeah, this card's based off of Paul Bunyan, which is kind of funny. And when it enters the battlefield, you create a blue ox that has this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. And whenever you attack, you draw a card, then you put a land card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. So yeah, it's like a combination of kind of like primarily graveyard with a good seasoning of landfall and tokens. Tokens for days. That's where Watsy loves tokens and everything. But, you know, when you're playing a multiplayer game, you can have a bunch of chump blockers. It's fantastic. So that will do it. Yeah, I will call it for a little goldfishing moment here. So again, this is Teval, the balanced scale. I'm going to maybe create like a Mox field list just so that everyone can see what the current list is sitting at. And I did get some gameplay of this deck, so I'll narrate over that and you guys can see some of the goofy things that happen in that game. But anyway, thank you my buddy for letting me borrow the deck, and if you like the video, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe. I really appreciate that, since something like 70-80% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. I'd love you forever. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Teval.